6:21 p.m. October 17th, 2023 marks exactly a year since my departure from my hometown, North Texas, to the Mile High City. This video is obviously not going to be too long because anyone who uploads on YouTube these days probably understands that people's attention span is nowhere near what it used to be. Honestly, I think it's safe to say I'm just as confused as before I even left. I want to say I came here looking for answers or just to satisfy my curiosity in general. When I say I believe in science, I'm not talking about that stupid birthday month garbage. I'm talking about situations or scenarios that just come to you and you find yourself in, or even you predict. What I mean is there was at least enough logical reasons for me to make the move and see what the hype was about. From this past year, I don't think I've tasted more irony or envy for myself in my life. For example, you know how your social media feed will adapt to the geographic area that you're in? Well, mine has always done like the exact opposite. Like when I was in North Texas, I'd see a lot of New York or LA activity. Now that I'm in the Mile High City, I see a lot of Texas activity. Quite a few similarities between the two cities since I already have the perfect example going on right now outside the window, if you can hear that in the background. Both cities tend to have unnecessary, random, annoying construction going on. And that's not an exaggeration. Like one day you'll see the road is perfectly fine. And then the next day you'll see the cones out. And then the next day you'll see all the equipment out. And then the next day you'll see them just standing out there just eating Lunchables and Sour Patch Kids and whatnot. And the next day it's pretty much the same way. And it takes them about 2 months to put the road exactly the way it was before they even messed with it. Traffic in both cities are terrible. I feel like it balances out because North Texas has a much superior infrastructure with a bigger population. And the Mile High, if you're not counting the Springs, it used to be a smaller city, so obviously the infrastructure is going to be whack. The road rage over here seems to be a little worse because it just happens for no reason, right? Like when the lane is ending, they'll speed up or they'll match your speed because they don't want you in front of them. Or like one time I was just making a left turn, just minding my own business, right? Like in a neighborhood street, just making a left turn. This guy yells out, "Use your signal." Of course, my response was, "Fuck you." When I hear the term freeway or highway, I think of at least 3 lanes on each side, not considering the toll, and only one stretch of government paved road fits that description. I have to say though, the employment situation is just much more superior out here. Like for example, if you try to get hired at Walmart in North Texas versus out here, it's much more easy to engage and actually obtain employment out here than it is in North Texas. It's funny because before leaving North Texas, I knew it was going to be virtually impossible to maintain my fanatic personality. All those detailed videos down there on the channel, I really washed and waxed the Ranger and the Charger more than I actually drove those two. Over here, obviously, my assumption became non-fictional. You know, obviously being a mile high tends to come with different kinds of weather like snow and everything like that. And the worst part about the snow is when it starts to get that brown, you know, all the dirt kind of gets all clumped up in it and stuff like that. And that's the dirtiest time of any type of season period, even though let alone like all the construction, as I've already said. Like in Texas, it wasn't so bad because you would like wash your car, it would be nice and clean, and maybe like 30 minutes later it'd be just filled with like dust and pollen and stuff like that. You'd have to wipe it down again. Over here it's pretty much the same way. Well, actually it's not too much dust. It's more of just, you know, when the winter comes around and then you got all that brown and all that good stuff, and even sometimes rust, you have to worry about that too as well. But yeah. Oh, and since I just reminded myself, staying on that topic kind of sort of, I feel like there's a million X times more harmful elements on the outside world that can harm your vehicle than there is in North Texas. For example, that 2005 Ford Taurus cash car that you guys have a huge interest on. I appreciate that, by the way, that I post on the channel. It's my cash car. The windshield is already blown out, right? And I'm obviously not going to replace it anytime soon because it's not too bad. It's just a couple of cracks. And I know as soon as I do replace it, it's going to get blown out by another meteor asteroid. Well, it's kind of exaggeration, but I was just driving on this 2-lane road, right? And there was this truck that, you know, those trailers that have the exposed rocks at the top. It was like a truck and the trailer separate. It was going the opposite way, and a rock still came out and smashed right into the middle of the windshield. And now it's got these little, you know, of course, these little cracks kind of growing on each side and stuff. So I'm not going to replace it anytime soon unless it gets blown out by another meteoroid, and then I'll have to replace it then. And then I'm pretty sure that one's going to get blown out too. But hey, you know, just an example, you just drive and mind your own business, right? And then it just gets blown out, nice big crack right in the middle of your windshield, whatever. Another great example of the harmful, harsh elements that are outside, which is the most obvious, is humans, right? So first of all, I want you to picture like one of those lights that attracts bugs, right? Let's just keep that in mind for a second for what I'm about to say. Now, I do plan on making a whole nother compilation or just a video that further explains this and has like actual scenarios and whatever, because it happens quite often, right? So I've owned quite a bit of cars, new and used, but the majority of these annoying incidents tend to happen when you own a pickup truck. I guess pickup trucks just attract annoying human pests. I've owned 3 pickup trucks, still have all but 2. I'm just not really a Dodge fan. I was just representing the brand I was selling for at the time, but I've experienced this with all of them. I still have my first vehicle till this day. It's going on 8 years now. It's the 2004 Ford Ranger Edge 2-wheel drive with the same 3.0 liter V6 that my Taurus uses. That's like my blood cell, my biological son. I'm never getting rid of that one right there. Earlier this year, I also had a 2022 Ram Classic Tradesman 2-wheel drive with the V6 in there. Like I said, I'm not really a Chrysler fan. I just wanted to represent the brand that I was selling for at the time because I was a salesperson. Anyway, sold that truck and then eventually got this 4-wheel drive 2007 F-150 Lariat with the 5.4 in there. So no matter how new or used the pickup truck, you've probably experienced some of these situations. For example, random vandalization, right? Am I saying that right? To property. Like, look at this. This is what I came up. So this '07 F-150 typically sits a lot, of course, as the majority of my vehicles do at the moment. They sit a lot because I'm pretty much just using one. And this is what I came back to right here. This an appropriate drawing on the hood for whatever reason, right? Of course, you know, the cowardnicity, if that's even a word, if that's even a word, right? The cowardnicity of somebody drawing this and then disappearing into the night shadows to where I don't even know who it is or where it could be or where it even came from. So that's good that they did that. They're smart for that. But just random, like, this is just randomness right here. Like, why are you vandalizing some random person's property? I have no idea why. Probably this probably doesn't happen until, well, maybe if you're in Houston or whatever the case is. I don't know. But this is what I came back to one day. It was like a couple of weeks ago, and this was on the hood, right? The truck is dirty as ever, of course, because like I said, the random construction that you can probably hear right now in the background goes on quite often, right? So I have no idea what goes on around the truck. That's one of the reasons why I got another used truck. It's just to ease my mind a little bit. Even it being used, it's still incredibly complicatedly difficult for me to keep the truck. Obviously, I can't protect the truck when I'm working like 40 miles away, like how I often do, right? So it's like, man, it's a used truck, and it's got all kind of dents and hail damage already on it, so I don't have to worry about that stuff, and people are still attracted to it like some kind of dumb pest. Okay, but another example, it's kind of like a story, but I'll try to make this as simple as possible. I was at the airport waiting to pick somebody up, right? And you know how like there's like different levels to the airport. Like I was all the way at the bottom, like towards the entrance of the parking garages, kind of like where you're not supposed to park, but I was chilling there anyway because I don't really care. And like I was underneath like all the bridges, like at the very bottom, the base of the airport, where they got all like the buses and stuff like that where they come in and everything. And I'm just sitting there minding my own business, right? I have 5% tint all the way around, so you can't really see me anyway. It's just a red truck sitting there. And these weirdos just kind of pull up into a space that's kind of over like on the side near over there. And I'm like I'm on this side like where there's a curb, and then there's like a pole, there's like a bridge support for one of the bridges that go way up there to the top, whatever the case. I'm just minding my own business. Point is, I'm minding my own business, just sitting there chilling. The truck is off, looks like it's nobody in it. So they pull up, it's these two dudes get out, one of them's on the phone, and he just, of course, just kind of gradually starts gravitating his way over towards the truck. The one on the phone gets close enough to check out just how ugly he really is in the back passenger glass. Like, I'm just sitting here minding my own business, and these two idiots show up like they don't know what time it is. Anyway, the one that's checking himself out in the reflection of the glass, he's about to prop his foot up on the back rear passenger tire, right? So as soon as, like, his foot is not even 5 centimeters away, I lay on the horn, he drops his phone and breaks. Long story short, they don't even speak English. It's like, yo, I'll be sitting in random secluded places by myself, and I still propel morons trying to vandalize strangers' property. For what? Like, you don't even just leave the truck alone. Like, why are you even over here in the first place? Like, go away. Not just that, but you know how California has their palm trees? Well, over here it's rocks, and the amount of decorative rock, it looks cool, but obviously this being the Mile High City, I imagine what they do to get all these decorative rocks is they just put some dynamite up in the mountains and blow it out, and then just drive the trucks down with all the pieces of rock and everything. But there's a lot of concern. It's just really concerning, all these decorative rocks, and I hope the majority of them are stuck to the ground, because those are potential weapons that you could just blow out somebody's glass and then just call it a day right there. You don't even need any weapon. I get a kick out of when somebody says it's cheaper in Texas, let alone it's probably a little bit more scary than anything, because inflation is real. Nothing is cheap anymore these days. Obviously, you got all these people moving out of California because it's almost like $9 a gallon over there and whatever, right? Like, nothing is cheap anymore these days, and that's not the mindset that I want to have, Like, by the time I'm 30, here's my goal. Here's what has to be done for me, right? What needs to be done. By the time I'm 30, I need to have some type of a solid foundation set, right? Which is why I have, like, here's how I kind of phrase it, right? I have each of my fingertips. I got 10 fingertips, right? Like, each one is like dipped in like a different cup, right? That's why I'm kind of doing a little dab in social media and here and there, all this stuff, just trying to make sure, I got like everything kind of going, so I I have like multiple options and multiple ways out, or whatever I'm trying to say. I don't know if I phrased that right, but the point is I need to make sure I have some type of foundation set by 28, 29, 30. So that's a goal of mine, because there's so many options and different things you could do, and like I'm still procrastinating to this day on what I should do. But that, like I just said right there, I have all these things going on just to make sure, I can't really fail. Well, I think I said pretty much everything I wanted to say in this video until it fully publishes, and I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot. So whoever stayed this long, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I said this video wasn't gonna be long, but I'm looking at it's like 9 minutes now. But hey, just kind of got carried away. Anyway, stay tuned for the next one. Quality, that everything getting better, more consistent uploads and all that good stuff. That's why you guys have been seeing videos pop out left and right, because I actually have a powerful enough laptop now to handle a lot of this 4K and all that stuff on the go when I need to. But anyway, that's it.